Hey, badass business owners. I'm often asked, how much money should you be putting into your advertising and marketing fund? How much should you be budgeting for these two items for your small business? Well, here's the thing. There really is no black or white answer to this question, because ultimately there are some businesses that put $0 into their advertising, and then there's others that put up to 20-25% into their business. It doesn't make one wrong. It doesn't make one right. It just means they have different ways that they go about getting that return on that. Let me explain. Let's talk about the two extremes for a minute. The first extreme is people that put nothing into their marketing. Their business is 100% word of mouth. It could be them networking, it could be them going out, but at the end of the day, it's just about their customers telling other customers about their business and how they need to use them. And they have so much business, they don't know what to do with it. And that's how a lot of small businesses actually get off the ground, is they're really good at their service and at what it is that they do. And they have really found a niche that really stands out, that when people need to make a recommendation, they're very specific as to getting this person because they're that good at what they do. And that's a great way to build your business, is by ensuring from day one that you are building a brand that stands for great service and quality of what it is that you do. And don't try to serve everybody. Really find a niche that you become a specialist in, because it makes it easier for people to recommend you. Then if you go to the other extreme, when people are spending 20%, 25% when it comes to their marketing, sometimes people can do more. Usually you find this in big groups, people that have grown their business so much and they've built these big teams, and they need to continue to funnel people into the business, in which case they do all kinds of advertising. They do coupons, they do the value packs, the penny saver, online, everything under the sun in order for them to continue to get more business in. And they've built their business model on, hey, look, we may not stand out as being the number one person people recommend, but we're going to be in front of their face so much that when they do need us, we're the person that they recognize or they remember, because they see us over and over and over, or they'll see us in that next month's coupons or something like that. So typically, these are going to be people that you know are competitors, but they're on a much larger scale. Yes, the bigger they become, the more advertising. And you would think it'd be the other way, that they could build their business without it. But that's not how they end up doing it. In order for them to continue to feed the beast, if you will, they've got to keep that pipeline going at all times. And therefore, their advertising budget continues to grow over the years. It might start off small, but then eventually it becomes pretty large, which is one of the reasons why you oftentimes will find that their pricing is so much higher than yours, because not only do they have to pay for this extra equipment, these extra people, but also this extra advertising. All of that is what you are paying for when you call those big heavy hitters, because you see them all the time. That's one of the reasons why their costs are so high. Now, for most of you, you're going to land somewhere in between. Obviously, if you can build your business without having to spend money on advertising, that's fantastic. But for some of you, in order to be able to kickstart and to get things going, you're probably going to have to put some money into it. A percentage is a percentage, okay? If you take $100 as a percentage of $1,000 of sales, that's going to be 10%. If you take $100 and it's a percentage of $5,000, it's a much lower number. And here's the thing that you must keep in mind. When you are talking about majority of you and where you're at, your percentage is going to seem high because your sales are not through the roof and they're not extremely high. So it's not really about the percentage that you put towards your advertising, but the return you get off of that advertising. The mistake that I see people make all of the time is they're willing to throw $200 a month, $1,000 a month, $1,000 a year, $5,000 a year at advertising without making sure they understand what that return on that investment should be. Remember, if you spend $200 on advertising, that's $200 from your operational expenses. That means that if your operational expenses run $1,000, then you're saying, hey, I'm going to put 20% of my operating expenses into this advertising. You need to get the return on that, because at the end of the day, if you spend 10% on advertising as a whole, then you know that the first 10% of your profits go towards that advertising. And it's all about the return on the investment. It is not. Please make sure you understand that if you spend $100 on advertising, it is not the first $100 in sales that makes you break even. It is the first $100 of profit that makes you break even, because this is coming out of your potential profit. Because remember, sales minus cost of goods minus expenses equals your profits. So if you're going to increase those expenses, it means there's less left over for the profits. So it's really important that you understand that if your profits are running a 20% and you're putting 10% into advertising, you're temporarily taking it down to 10%. So you're gonna have to make sure that you do $1,000 in sales in order to be able to get that back. Now, I know I'm throwing a lot of percentages. This is not about you doing the math on this. It is about you making sure that you understand the correlation between what you spend on your advertising and getting the return. Because the mistake that people make is they throw this money at folks and then they're like, oh, I feel so bad, or I'm not doing this. At the end of the day, you are a business person. I get the fact that you've built a relationship, especially in small towns. I know that you built a relationship with probably the people that you're doing the advertising with, and you don't want to hurt their feelings and you don't want to burn that bridge and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you are still a business owner, and it must be profitable for the business owner, because what you're doing then is saying that you don't care that you don't make any money. You're just going to continue to waste money and flush it down the toilet because you value that relationship. Now, I'm not saying pick a business over relationships. Just understand that you have to make the right call. So the biggest thing that you can do is not commit to anything longer than 6 months. I would commit to less if you can, but at most 6 months, because a lot of these places will try to get you to commit for a year. And next thing you know, it takes a couple months to get things off the ground. All right. So it's not once and done. It's not twice and done. You really kind of need to get something going, 2, 3, 4 months before you start seeing that return. But after 6 months, you absolutely see a return on your investment. And this is for any local advertising. It's if you're going to put your business on tables, put them on shopping carts, put them on video ads that somebody's going to make for you. You name it. There's all kinds of stuff out there, especially in the smaller towns. But at the end of the day, you must make money. And if at 6 months you have to renew, you need to make sure that you're getting the return on it. And that doesn't mean that, oh yeah, I think I got 6 customers out of this. Well, if you got 6 customers out of something you paid for 6 months, unless that profit covered for itself, it was not a profitable gamble. All right. I'm not saying that you have to get, tons of people, but that is the goal. The goal of any advertising is to bring in a bunch of new customers, open up new avenues. Otherwise, what you're doing, the advertising that you're paying for, is more brand recognition than it is getting dollars, because your advertising dollars does one of two things. It either gets butts in the door or people on the phone to call you up to set up the business, or it's about getting your name out there. And remember earlier when I said that these businesses, they'll get in value packs and whatnot, and they'll just pay and pay and pay and pay. Because they know that the return rate is, out of everyone that goes out, they might get 1 to 3% of the people calling them who see that. But the main thing they're trying to do is plant the seed of their business and the name of their business over and over and over. So for example, when you sponsor a baseball team and you put a banner up or you sponsor them, you're not expecting to get anything back. You're not expecting to get a customer, but what you are doing is, one, building goodwill in the community. Yes. But the second thing is to get your name out there for people to know that you even exist. That's where advertising, marketing, and branding all come in, because one is just about getting your name out there, and the rest is about getting butts through the door or on the phone call, whatever the case may be. So please make sure that whenever you're spending any kind of money, whether it's $100, $50, $500, every dollar has a purpose. Ask yourself before you begin, what is the goal with this money? What do I expect to get a return? How many customers do I expect to gain from this to know that it was a successful thing? And by the way, don't advertise everything under the sun, all right? Because if you advertise everything under the sun that you do, then really it's a branding thing. It's about getting your name out there. What you want to do is you want to be very specific as to what it is you want them to do. What action do you want them to take? What do you want them to call you for? Because by doing that, it's actually going to make sure that they do that very thing. You'll see this a lot of times with carpet people. They're going to be like, hey, 3 rooms in a hallway for X amount of money, $50 off your next water heater install. They didn't say everything that they do. It's like, this specific thing is what I want to try to get you into. Pizza places, think about the pizza coupons that you read. It's for a specific pizza. Now, you may or may not get that pizza, but what they're doing is they're saying, hey, here's a great deal if you want this deal, but if not, we might have some others, or just don't forget to use us. But they target in. If it was just a coupon for pizza, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's a coupon for pizza. But something makes you stop and read that deal to say, hey, is this a deal that I want to do? So be very specific about that. And then also make sure that you've run the numbers, that what you're giving out is going to actually make money. So if you do $50 off of a water heater, well, guess what? They're making profit of $400 to $500 on that water heater in some cases. That $50, they're going to make their money back for every person that comes back in if they spend $100 to get that ad out. But then there's other people that they're not making that kind of money because they need to get a lot of people, because obviously a pizza place that's giving, 2 large pizzas for $10, they might make a little profit off of the one, but in order to make up the $100, $200 that they put into that advertising, they have to sell a lot more pizzas to be able to get people into the doors. When you're looking at other people's advertising, ask yourself, what looks good, what looks bad, what looks, oh, that's kind of a neat thing, what grabs your attention, and really study that. Before you hand over that first $100 bill, you write that check, make sure you ask yourself, what do you expect to have in return in the next 6 months from this advertising? How much money do you need to make off of that ad in order for it to pay for itself? And remember, it all comes off of profits. A $100 ad does not mean a $100 sale. It means $100 in profits just to break even. And that $100 in profits means you don't get any until that $100 is made up. All right. So it's your owner's money that you're giving up in order for you to run that advertising. So you need to be able to get back. I am 100% okay with you doing advertising. I've done a lot of it myself through the years, but you've got to know the difference. And don't let people bully you. I used to have this person that would come into my store and really start trying to bully me into using their advertising. And I'm telling you, that is the first thing that you definitely do not want to do with me, because it was a hard no. And I would even back it up with data saying, look, I did not get butts through the door with your advertising. And then when I found somebody that would actually listen to what it is that I was looking for and what I was asking for and what I was needing, we came up together with a great plan that was going to create the excitement and the people coming in through the doors to satisfy the business. And guess what? We had a great partnership for 3 years. So it's all about you making sure that you know what the business needs are, and can this advertising method work for your business? And if so, what does that need to look like? How many people need to come into the business for you in order to make money? All right, I've been rattling on this too long. My main point of this entire thing is make sure your advertising dollars have a purpose, and that you know what that purpose is so that you can put together the best kind of advertising. So whether you choose no advertising at all through word of mouth, that's fantastic. That's great. Or you plan to spend 20, 25%. There is no set dollar. It's about the return that you get off of the money that you spend, no matter how much that money is. All right, with that, I am out of here, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell. It's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.